Alright, Schlockmeister fans, another review from my previous channel. The fourth film in the Chainsaw Massacre series, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Next Generation. Let's check it out. Our movie starts with a little prologue about what happened in the past. And guess what's going to happen again? It's prom night. And we have a young Renee Zellweger. We got some dating discourse here as one guy is cheating on a girlfriend, and we got a bunch of kids driving off in a car now. Well, naturally, they are going to crash, as predicted by her. Anyway, they meet up at this business here where this woman named Darla flashes them. So they end up hitting this one guy, so
no, he's not. He's just passed out.
They're going to have to try to get some help. And look, it's Matthew McConaughey. He also just killed him. Quick to find out that Vilmer is part of the Chainsaw cannibal family. Our group gets separated, our survivors, and they find a house. This girl on the porch, I believe her name is Heather. Heather's about to meet Leatherface. Heather, meet Leather. Heather's going to be thrown in the freezer. Dude's looking for Heather and finds a body in a bathtub. And his fate's going to be different than Heather's. Well, actually, Heather's going on a hook.
You want to ride or you don't? It's up to you.
Meanwhile, Jenny gets picked up by Vilmer unbeknownst to her. He's part of the family.
Where's Sean?
Is that your boyfriend?
He eventually gets her in the truck and forces her to look at the bodies he has in the back.
Live and learn.
But he dumps her off. Probably because he knew Leatherface was in the woods. Jenny eventually makes it to the house. Or back to the insurance agency where Darla is. Unbeknownst to her, Darla is also in cahoots with the family. Which is soon made clear to her when another guy comes in and starts hitting her with a cattle prod.
Where's my gun?
Meanwhile, Heather...
Don't hit me. No. Don't hit me. Stop.
At this point, Jenny is captive in the house. And Heather's dragged in.
Oh God, what are you gonna do?
Vilmer's going to take a bite out of her.
Never would have believed it, but it's all true. I mean, who do you think killed Kennedy? Government? No, that government stuff is bullcrap. It's these people.
There's a secret society group, kind of like the Illuminati. Eventually, Heather gets a hold of a gun. I'm sorry, Jenny gets a hold of a gun. But she loses her advantage pretty quickly. She briefly got away, but they pulled her back in. McConaughey gives us his catchphrase. Leatherface is in drag.
My brother here is tired of what's-her-name's face, and he wants a new one. It just happens to be he wants this face. Right here. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
If you're gonna kill me, then do it. I'm not gonna put up with any more of your crap. It's bullshit. Nobody believes any of it except your idiot girlfriend. It's fucking pathetic. Is it?
One of them's on fire. And they get paid a visit by this guy named Rothman.
You assume whatever you goddamn well please, they must get off my...
Apparently he's one of the leaders of this secret Illuminati type group. He doesn't like the way that Vilmer's doing things. Apparently he's supposed to be doing what he's doing, he just doesn't like the way he's doing it.
It's very simple. I want these people to know the meaning of horror.
And before he leaves, Rothman gives Renee Zellweger a taste. As dawn breaks, Jenny's able to escape, flags down an RV with Leatherface in hot pursuit. But Vilmer picks up Leatherface, and they somehow drive the RV off the road. Then, as she still tries to escape, an airplane comes in and conks Vilmer on the head, killing him. Rothman then shows up and picks up Jenny.
No. You have nothing to fear.
He explains that they had to get rid of Vilmer because they didn't like the way he was doing things. He drops her off at a hospital where we see Marilyn Burns as Sally Hardesty. And that's the way our film ends. All right. Let's talk about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the Next Generation. Probably play on the Star Trek Next Generation thing here. So this is the fourth movie in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre series. Came after Leatherface, which was 4 years earlier. Or was it 5 years earlier? 5 years earlier, I think. This came out in 95, I believe. It's the first, I don't know, not the first major role, but stars Matthew McConaughey and Renee Zellweger. I think it was Zellweger's, like, actually, I think it was McConaughey's, like, third or fourth feature film. About the same for Zellweger, too. But anyway, filmed in Texas. The story is some kids are leaving a prom. There's some angst there because one guy is cheating on his girlfriend. Whatever, they're all in a car and they end up going off the road. They're on some back Texas road somewhere because, of course, they are. They ended up getting separated. Ultimately, they're within the realm of the Chainsaw Massacre family. So, a couple of the people end up in this, like, I don't know if it was a radio station or what it was. They meet this woman named Darla. She says, I'll call my boyfriend. He's got a tow truck. He can help you out. And the boyfriend is played by McConaughey. I think he plays, what's his name? Vilmer or something like that? Vilmer, I think is his name. And turns out he's actually part of the Chainsaw family, as is Darla. Anyway, they start picking them off one by one. Leatherface is in the woods too. Ultimately, comes down to one survivor, which is Jenny, played by Renee Zellweger. She ends up in the house, and they're doing the usual torture stuff on them. But then something weird happens. This guy comes to the door, Mr. Rothman. He's in a suit. He's got this other guy with him. They drove up in like a limo or something. And he's a part of some sort of secret society, kind of like the Illuminati, which apparently is running everything. Darla says that these guys are responsible for killing Kennedy. Anything that weird that happens, this group is behind them, and they basically want Vilma and this Chainsaw family to kill off a few people here and there. It makes no sense, but whatever. Jenny ends up escaping from this, and the next day, it's like daylight now. She's at the end of the movie, or she's trying to flag down this RV with this old couple inside. They end up picking her up while Leatherface is chasing her. But then Leatherface gets in a pickup truck and driven by Vilma, and they run the RV off the road. Jenny runs away. Vilma's chasing her, but then this airplane comes in, flies so low that the wheel of the landing gear hits Vilma on the head and kills him. And then this other limo shows up, and it's Mr. Rothman again, and he picks up Jenny and says, "You're okay now, everything's fine." And he explains, we had to get rid of Vilma because he was, I don't know how they described, too big for his britches, or we didn't like the way he was handling things, whatever. And they said, you have two options, like we can give you to the police or to the hospital. And then she's like, "Screw you guys, I don't know who you are," but they end up dropping her off at the hospital. And the movie ends with Jenny in the hospital, and as she's sitting there, a gurney goes by, and there's Sally Hardesty, played by Marilyn Burns, again on the gurney being wheeled away, and that's kind of how our movie ends. So this movie, in Leatherface, the previous film, they mentioned in the prologue or the epilogue, or whatever, the prologue at the beginning, that Sally Hardesty died in 1997. Well, this movie comes out in 1995, so it almost seems like it predated Leatherface, because Sally Hardesty apparently died in 1997, but she's in this movie, in character, same actress even. So I don't know, maybe the events in this place took place before Leatherface. I don't know my Texas Chainsaw history, so I apologize, but that's what it appears like to me. Anyway, the movie itself, it's okay. It ain't bad. I was going to say no nudity in this movie, but there was. Darla flashed at one point. The gore, just a typical, I don't want to say 80s slash because this was in the 90s, but it's just typical slash film. It wasn't a bad film at all. In fact, the critics actually weren't even that hard on this movie. It has a 50 Metascore right now, which isn't bad, especially for a horror movie. And it does seem that McConaughey, very strong character in this movie, and I think he rose above the level of the film that it actually was and made it better than it was. In fact, even Renee Zellweger had good things to say about this movie, or she didn't have any bad things to say about it. Apparently they all stayed together in like the director's Winnebago or something, and it was just kamikaze filmmaking is how she described it, but she had good things to say about that too. So anyway, don't have anything really bad about Leatherface, or I'm sorry, about Texas Chainsaw 4 here, and nobody else does either. So there you go. Anyway, that's it. I'm sure this movie's been released on Blu-ray by now. If it is, I'll leave a link to that down below on Amazon. This DVD here, put out by, who put this out? I don't know. Has a fair amount of extras on it too, so maybe the Blu-ray does also. Check it out. Leave some comments. Let me know what you think about Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation. Watch it. Bye.